Hi, what's up guys, it's Evan here, and in today's video I'm going to be teaching you how to solve the 5x5 Rubik's Cube. So I'm going to scramble this cube up, and we're going to hop right into this tutorial. I'm really having fun with these tutorial videos. If you guys want to leave some comments on some other videos, like tutorial videos you'd like to see me do, let me know down below, and I will do them all for you. I mean, I'm really having a lot of fun with my channel. I'm just now... Like I said, there are some times I'm going to be posting like once a week, if you didn't know that, is because I'm busy with school now, and school's really important to me, and I'm pretty sure all you guys is probably agreeing with that. So now I have this cube all scrambled up, and I also highly suggest learning how to solve a 4x4 before learning how to solve this cube. So let's hop right into this tutorial. So the first thing you want to do, if you haven't seen my 4x4 tutorial, is to solve the white center. So what you want to do is create bars and line up pieces. So you want to look around the cube and see if there are any pieces that can line up these centers. So now you can see, like on a 3x3, the middle pieces are the center pieces and tell you which side, even though you're going to be creating a 3x3 center. Like they can still tell you what side of the cube they are since it's an odd layer cube. So now what you want to do is create a bar of 3 pieces. So you want to line up pieces, so if this piece is in like the middle row, this piece is also in the middle row, so I can move this piece down, and now I have one of my pieces in my bar done. So you want to look, if you want to talk about like middle row, look at like these 4 spots right here. And now check and see if you can have like a piece like in these middle 4 spots. Those are like the middle pieces I'm talking about. So now I have a piece lined up here. So now if I want to move this over, so I need to move this over, and now move this across, and now I have my first bar done on my white center. So now once you have like a bar done, I kind of suggest moving the pieces like off to the side, like this side, the white side off to the side. And now let's think about making another bar of 2 pieces. So now I want to make these outer bars, like these 2 bars right here. So now what I want to do is, like, I already have a bar of 2 here, and I need to get a corner piece here. So, and I have a corner piece, okay, these 4, the corner center pieces. So I can just move this over, line this piece up, and now I have a bar of 3. And now I can just insert that into my white center. So now I have one more bar to go, and now I have one piece here, and I also do have one piece here. So if I have a corner piece here and I have a middle piece here, I can move this middle piece down, and I can just move that up, and now I have a bar of 2 here. So now I need to find my last piece, and it's not on any of these layers. And if you see that, it might be on the white layer. So now what you can do is just move, so now I can just test and see. I want to move this piece down and see if I'm not affecting bars, because if I move this piece down, I would be ruining one of my bars. Same thing here, same thing there, but this time I would not be ruining a bar because it's the only piece I'm moving down. So now I can just move this piece down, and now I have my bar of 3, line this up, and now I have my white center done. But if that's not the case, where you have, if this piece like is kind of like, pretend like this piece was here and like it wouldn't work, just basically move this piece down, and then you can just move it into a different layer. And then you would create your bar and make the white center. So now you have your white center done. So now it's time to solve the second center, which is the yellow center. So now you want to do the same thing like you did with the white center, but you're going to be like the creating bars method. But like now now I want to create this middle bar, like with these middle pieces, these 4 pieces like I was talking about. Think about those like center edge pieces. Think about that. So now I can move this piece up because it lines up with this. So I can move this piece up to line it up with it. But I just realized it ruins our white center. So what you want to do is move this piece out of the way with a single U move or U prime move. And now move this slide back down. So now I have one piece in my bar done. So now I want to look for another piece to line up. And I can choose these 2 pieces because these are like in the middle row. So I can just move this piece over and then up, and I have my bar of 3. And I move that, and now once I'm done, I can just move that over and back down. So now let's do another bar. Let's do an outer bar. So I have a piece of 2 right. I have a bar of 2 right here, and now I need to get a piece into this spot. I have a corner piece up here, so I can just move this over and then down and just line up pieces. If you know how to solve the centers on a 4x4, this should be I feel like the first few centers should be pretty easy to you on a 5x5. It's basically the same method, but when you get to the last two centers, it might be something weird, but you'll know it in the future. So now I have a bar here, so I want to move that up, move this piece of bar up, but it would ruin one of our centers. So now I need to replace it with a bar that's not finished, aka this thing bar right here, even though it's not done. So I can just move that over and then move that piece back down. And now, if you want to make it easier, have the yellow center you're working on, the white centers to the side. So now let's look at this piece. So I have a corner piece here and a corner piece here. So if I want to line these two pieces up, I want to move this piece over down to the bottom with this piece. So I can line it up, and now I have a bottom piece right here, which I can just line up. And now, instead of inserting the yellow center like this, it would ruin one of our centers. So what you want to do is put one of the completed bars, like this one right here, have them vertical to each other, and then move this bar up, do a U2 move, and then move that bar back down. And now you have your yellow center and your white center done on this puzzle. So now the next thing you do is to solve the red center. So now you want to find where the red center piece is, and it's right here. So now I want to find a red middle piece, have the yellow center and the white center facing to the side, and now I need to find a piece that lines up here. And I do have a little middle piece right here, so I can move that over and I'll line that up. So I also do have a bar of 2 right here, so I can kind of move that over. So I can kind of see if I have any corner pieces right here, and I actually do. I have 2 right here. So let's see, I can have one here, and I can move it here if I just move this over. So what I can do is I can move this piece over, and now I can just move that piece down, over, and then up. And now I have my second bar done on my red center. So now I have a bar of 2 here, and I need this middle piece. So if I want to line this up, I can try moving this over to the bottom, and now moving that, lining these pieces up, and I can move this up, and now I have my bar done. It did ruin my other bar. You can just connect it easily, just like that. And now you have your first 3 centers done. So now the next thing to do is to solve your green center. So now I have a bar of 2 right here. So now I want to look for a little middle piece here. So now I have 1 here. So I need to move this piece. So every turn you make, you want to move a piece down, move it out of the way, and then move it back up. So for example, I have a little middle piece here, which I can line up with these 2 pieces. So what I can do is basically move this piece down, move this over, and now move this piece back up. So now if I want to make another bar, so I have a bar done. So now I have a little corner piece here and a corner piece here. So now I want to see if I have any pieces I can line up with it. So now I have a piece right here that's green. So I have a little green middle piece. And I can line this piece up and put it here and next to it. So I can just move this piece up. And since this did ruin our red center, I'm going to move this over out of the way with a U move, and then move that side back down. So now I have a bar of 2 done. So now let's see if I have any little corner pieces like these 2, and I actually do have one. So what I can do is basically I can move this slide back over, and now I have a corner piece right here which I lined up, and now I can put it in this spot. But since I did move it down, I did ruin our red center. So I want to move this piece over, this bar back over, and then back up. And now if I want to move this bar in, I want to move this bar down, do a move to move this bar out of the way, and then move this piece back up. And now I still have maintained my red center. So now let's look at some other pieces. So I have a little middle piece right here, which I can line up with this piece right here. So what I can do is just move this piece down. It ruined our center, so I can just move this over and then move this piece back up. And now I have my center is still fine. So now I have one more piece to insert, which is this one right here. So now if it's in this spot, I can basically line it up just like this. If I move this down, it'll create a bar. I need to move this out of the way to fix the center. Now move that side back up. Our red center is still fine. So now, instead of inserting the center like this, like I already taught you with the yellow center, you want to kind of put it vertical to another bar that's already done. So replace it with a complete bar, like this one right here. So I'm going to move this bar down, move this piece over, and then back up. Now your first 4 centers, and now it's time to solve the last 2 centers. I'm probably thinking this is probably the hardest part of the centers, or the last 2 centers, because you might be thinking, do I just do the same thing for the other 4 centers I did? The answer is no. You actually do not do it the same way. I mean, for some of it you do, but for some of it you do not. So what you want to do is kind of look for a piece to create a middle bar, like this middle bar right here. So I have a piece of 2 right here, and I have all these middle pieces here. So now I'm just going to pick one. I'm going to pick this one. So now I can just move this piece over, move this piece down, and then I want to move this piece out of the way. And now I want to move this up. So now I can move this piece up. So now what you want to do is look for another piece to move up. So I have a little corner piece right here that I can move up to do a center. So if I move this bar 2 over, it's not going to work. So I'm going to pick this one. So if I move this over, I can just move this piece up, I can move this over, and then back down. And you might be thinking, it's going to be hard for you to create a bar at this case. So what you want to do now, if you have once you create like 1 or 2 bars or so, like at least 2, what you want to do is just kind of insert like one of these set of pieces. So I'm just going to insert this set of pieces here, this piece here. So I'm just going to insert like I would with the yellow center. You might be thinking, why would I do this? So instead of creating a bar, what you want to do is insert this like a different way. So now if you have a case like this where you have either 1 piece remaining or 2 pieces remaining. So let's say if you have 2 pieces remaining, you're just going to choose one of the pieces. I'm just going to choose this corner piece to replace. So then what I would do next is actually put this like little corner piece into where it's actually needing to go. So if it needs to go here, I'm going to put this corner piece in this spot. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this side with this corner piece in its correct spot. I'm going to move this side down. You kind of want to watch the piece you want to replace. So if I want to put this piece in this spot, watch this piece right here. So keep an eye on this piece. What you want to do is move this piece down. You still have an eye on that piece, like right here. So now you want to move this piece out of the way. It's still right here. Move this side down. Move this side over. Move this side back over. And then just insert it just like that. I'll do that again. So now let's see. This might be easier with just 1 piece. So what you want to do is insert where it needs to go. So if it needs to go here, I need to put this piece here. So I'm just going to move this piece over. So now what do I want to do since you want to watch this piece right here that you want to move. One specific piece. You want to watch this piece right here. Look at that piece. So just make sure you have an eye on it. So what you want to do, once you have this piece like where it needs to go in this correct slot, what you want to do is move this piece down. What you want to do is now move this out of the way. So I can just move this out of the way. You know the piece is still here. So now what you want to do is where the piece is, you want to move this row down. And now what you want to do is move this back over to where you moved it. So if you moved it here and moved it here when you try to fix the piece, what you want to do is move this back over to where you swapped before you swapped it. Move this back up, over, and then back up. And now you have your centers on your 5x5 done. So once you have your centers done, it is time to move on to edge pairing. So if you don't know, if edge pairing is basically taking these edge pieces and creating something like this. This is kind of what you want. That's something you want when doing a 5x5 solve or any bigger cube. So you can pick, let's pick any, there's actually 2 ways to do edge pairing. I'm going to do an easy way first. So now what I want to do is pick any edge piece that I want. I'm going to pick this white and blue piece. And now I have one white and blue piece here. But when you realize if you move it over, the piece is flipped. If you have a case where you have the pieces are flipped when you move it over, or the pieces are kind of across from each other, like in the same face, like this one here, you do this simple algorithm to flip the pieces. R, F prime, U, R prime, F. So now you see that the piece is flipped. The way you can tell that you can insert a piece is that when they're on the same face, they have opposite colors. So if this is white and blue and this is white and blue, and if you have blue and like opposite colors facing in front of you, that's when you know it's correct. So now I can just move this piece over. I can move this up. I can replace it with a broken pair. A broken pair is when you have an edge pair that is not completed. None of these pieces match, so I can move this down, and then I can fix the centers. So now what I can do is I need to look for this last edge piece, and the last edge piece is right here. So now I need to take the edge pair that I already started, move it onto the same face with this last piece. So now what I want to do next is try to insert this last piece up here. But since it's across from each other on the same face, what I want to do next is basically flip this edge piece and put it up here with that same algorithm I taught you. If you have like I said, if you have a case where you have an edge piece that needs to be like switched, like it's flipped, like when they have the same color facing towards you, or they're across from each other, or both, make sure you do this algorithm. R, F prime, U, R prime, F. And now the edge is in its correct spot, so now I can just move this over. I can move this pair up, replace it with a broken pair, and move that piece back down and fix the centers. So that's basically edge pairing. I'm going to do like another one. You kind of repeat this process. In like a few moments, I will show you that other way to insert an edge piece. And so I'm going to do that method one more time. So I'm going to pick another edge piece. I have white and green. So I want to look for another edge piece with white and green. I have one right here. So if it's not in the same row, you're good. But if they have the same color facing towards you, that means you know that piece is flipped. So just do that same algorithm to flip the piece R, F prime, U, R prime, F. And now the piece they have opposite colors, and now you can move it over, and they match with each other. So now I can just move, I can move this piece up, but you want to replace this with a broken pair. So I can move this piece up, and I can replace this with a broken pair like this one, move this down, and then back over. So now I have a pair of 2 done. So now what I want to do next is find this last edge piece, and the last edge piece is right here. So now I need to put this down onto the same face, aka like these 3 sets, so I can move that down. And now since they have opposite colors and it needs to go up here, this piece is in the correct spot. So now what I can do is move this piece over, replace one of these set of pieces with a broken pair, move this up, over, back down, and fix the centers. So let's do this one more time before showing you this new method. So now let's look at another set of edge pieces. I have a set of 2 pieces right here with red and yellow. So what you want to do now, I want to find another piece with red and yellow. It's right here. So now what I want to do is move this piece up, and now it's on the same face. But now you notice that the pieces are across from each other, and they have the same colors. You need to flip this piece around using R, F prime, U, R prime, F. And now the piece is in its correct spot, and when you know it's correct, they have opposite colors. So now I can just move this over. I can replace this with a broken pair, move this over, down, and across. So now, what you want to do, there is another way to do edge pairing. So what you can do is actually you can insert all 3 pieces at once. So what you want to do is find 2 pieces and put them on the same face. So let's pick this piece, white and orange. So now I need to find another edge piece with white and orange, and it's this one right here. So I'm going to move this piece down. And now what I want to do is find the other white and orange edge piece and put it on one of these 2 faces here. And it's actually right here. So now what you can do is basically check. You want to make sure that one set of pieces, like these 2 set of pieces, are correct. They have opposite colors and they are diagonal to each other. You know they are correct. And same with these pieces. So now, if you have something like this, you can just basically move this piece over. That's correct. And now I can just move this over, and that's correct. So now I can just replace this with a broken pair, move this up, replace it with another broken pair, move this back down, and then fix the centers. So let's do that again. So let's pick another edge piece. So I have yellow and green. So now I want to find an edge piece with yellow and green. I need to put it on the same face as it is now. So I need to put it in this spot or this spot. It doesn't matter. So here's a yellow and green piece. So I'm going to move this over and then move this piece up. Oops. It's on the same face, but what you want to do first is line up get the three pieces all next to each other. So here's the last piece. I want to move this over and then up. So now I have three pieces all lined up with each other. So now you want to make sure to check if the pieces are correct. And if these two are opposite colors and they are diagonal to each other, these are correct. These are not because they have the same color and they are straight across from each other. Do that same algorithm I taught you, R, F prime, U, R prime, F. Now and check and see if they are correct. This set is correct. This is not, since they have the same color. Do the same thing you did before with that algorithm. And now let's see if they are correct. So I did that algorithm. These pieces are opposite colors and they are diagonal to each other. That is correct. And the same here, that is also correct. So now I can just move this piece down, and now I can line these pieces up, and now I have my edge pair done. But like I said, if you have something where you have three edge pairs done, what you want to do is replace one of these edge pairs. I want to move this up, over, and out of the way. I didn't have three edge pairs, but I kind of just wanted to show that as an example. So now I have another edge pair done, and now let's pick another one. So now I want to pick another one. So let's pick this piece with red and green. So now I need to find another edge piece with red and green. So I have this one right here, and they are next to each other. So now with that same method, I want to try to find that last red and green piece. It's right here, so it's already in the correct spot. So like I said, you want to check and make sure the pieces are diagonally to each other, and they have opposite colors facing towards you. These have opposite colors and are facing towards me, and they're diagonal, which means those pieces are correctly placed. And so are these two pieces. So now you can just insert them just like they normally would. And like I said, if you have a case where you have three edge pairs done on one side, just replace it with one of the completed edge pairs. So I'm going to do this one right here. So I can just move this up, replace this broken pair so I can move this piece edge pair over, and then move that edge pair back down. And now you just fix the centers. And now if you ever have a case where you have all four edge pieces done on one side, just flip the cube over and do the same thing on the other side. So let's pick another set of edge pieces. So let's do red and blue. So now I have a red and blue piece here, blue piece here, blue piece here. So they're all lined up with each other, all three of them next to each other. Let's make sure they're correct first before we place them. It says red and blue, they're diagonally to each other, which means they are correct and they have opposite colors. These two have opposite colors and they're diagonal to each other. That means they're correct. So now I can just place them together, replace it with a completed edge pair since I have three of them done. So now I can just place this pair, move this, replace it with this pair, and move that down. And now just fix the centers. And now if you have a case where you have all four edge pairs done on both sides, just look and see what pieces you have left. So let's say if you have any edge piece pairs of two. If you don't, that's okay. Just create one piece insert one piece at a time like I showed you earlier in edge pairing. So I have a piece with green and orange right here. So now what I want to do is find that last edge piece with green and orange. So I can just have that facing like this across from me. And now the piece is over here. So I want to move this piece over and down. So now it's on the same face. Before you before you insert the piece, you want to make sure you have a set of room for putting in the edge pairs. Like I have all four on this side, completed. I'm gonna flip the cube over and see if I can do the same thing. I do have room because I need to insert two edge pairs. So now what I can do is I want to check and make sure these pieces are diagonal to each other and they have opposite colors, and they do. So I can just move this piece over. They are matched up. I can just place this piece with a broken pair, replace another, and now just do a U move to replace another pair, and move that side back down, and now you have your centers fixed. So overall, we have 3 edge pairs left. So let's pick another pair. So I have a set of 2 with orange and blue, and I have a set of orange and yellow. So I'm just going to pick the orange and blue, because why not? So I need to put it on the same face, which I already did. But before I insert it, I need to check these pieces are correct. But there are 4 edge pairs completed on both sides. You need to look around and see where the last edge pair you need to insert is, and it's right here. So I need to have that facing towards the side that needs 1 more edge pair, which is this side here. So like I already said, these pieces are matched up, so I can just insert it just like that. Replace the completed edge pair, replace it with this one, and then what you can do is move this over. And now you moved on to the last part. So now the last 2 edge pairs. So now what you want to do is that you can have many cases with this. So what you want to do is kind of flip the pieces around, and you kind of want to make them like flipped like this. There is there is parity in this cube, by the way. So what you want to do is see where you have like a set of pieces, and you kind of want to match like one of their corresponding pieces with another one, and just kind of flip them around like this. If you don't have that, and you have like something like this, and you kind of can just solve it like this, you cannot do that. You cannot solve it with just moving a piece over, because if you just move it up, you're just going to ruin another one of your centers, another one of your edge pairs, and you're going to have the same thing. So what you have to do instead is actually make the pieces kind of flip to each other. So you want to make something like this. These pieces are flipped. So you want to make sure the pieces have this like same colors facing in front of you before you do this. And yes, they're all the same color. It doesn't matter which one you do. I'm just going to do yellow and orange. I have this piece here, which I can just move over to make a flipped edge pattern like this, is what you can do. So now what I can just do is do R, F prime, U, R prime, F. And now what you can do is just move this side over, and then UX, and then you have something like this, which is called edge parity. You just kind of keep repeating that process, and you kind of get used to it in the future. So now what you can run into is something called edge parity, which is basically having flipped edges, something like this. So having 2 outer edges correct, and the inner edge needs to be flipped. You can have 2 of these, or you can just have 1. If you have 2 of them, just have one of the pairs facing in front of you, and the other one is facing to the bottom. It doesn't matter what you do, but you'll just do the same parity algorithm like you normally would. So if you have like 2 like right here and here, I'm just going to choose one of them to have in front of me, like right here, and now I just do the parity algorithm, which I will explain to you in a second, which is exactly like the parity algorithm on a 4x4, which is basically where you have 3x3 parity, or OLL parity. So now, what you want to do next is see where you need to insert, is see if you have parity. And yes, I do have parity. It is very hard to avoid parity on a odd cube like this. Sorry. But what you then have to do is do the parity algorithm. So when I said having one of the set of parities like in front of you, have it like to the front, like right here, like facing like at the very front of your cube, facing towards you, like that. And same thing if you have double parity, where you have 2 sets of parity. You'll just do the parity algorithm for one set of pieces. Like say if I had one here, I would have this set facing in front of me. Don't worry about the other. You wouldn't worry about the other one. You would just do the one first, and then you would come into a case like this. So the parity algorithm goes like this: R2, B2, U2, L, U2, R prime, U2, R, U2, F2, R, F2, L prime, B2, R2. So that is edge parity, and then next thing you do is just solve it like a normal 3x3. And then you might be asking, are there any weird cases when hitting 3x3 stage? And the answer is no. There are actually no weird cases on 3x3 stage, and you can just solve this freely however you'd like. There are no odd, like, weird parodies on 3x3 stage, like, where you have to, like, kind of, like where you have OLL parity. There's nothing like that, and you just kind of solve it however you normally would. So then once you hit 3x3 stage and finish edge pairing, you just solve this cube like a normal 3x3. There's no freaking out needed when you get to this part, and now you can just solve it however you like, and then just solve it even using beginner's method. I really don't care, but once you hit 3x3 stage, you can solve it however you like, even using beginner's method. So then, you can just solve this freely, and that is about pretty much it. Everything for this long and epic tutorial. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like down below and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on some other tutorials you'd like to see me do. The cube will eventually be solved, like, later when you're done doing 3x3, like a 3x3. And if you guys have any questions, please let me know down below in the comment section below. If you guys like this tutorial, please leave a like down below and subscribe. Leave a comment on other tutorials or other Rubik's Cube videos you'd like to see me do. And I'll catch you guys soon. Bye!